Can you guys hear this? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can.
that one's better. Okay, maybe it's just
Okay.
me. All right. Well, hopefully you got the got the idea between those slides. But we are going to move on to the next slide. Please register for that tomorrow because we are having lunch. So we want to make sure we have a good head count and want to make sure that we know how many people are going to show up for lunch tomorrow. And then if you'll go to the next slide, we're going to kick off our panel. So if our panelists will come up here and go ahead and have a seat up here. Tamara, if you want to stand, you can. I know you have a dress on. I didn't think about it. And I will pass this mic around so that everybody can hear it on Zoom. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We were so excited. We were actually looking for growth in agents year over year. And these agents have grown their businesses between 150 and 300% year over year from last year. So we're going to kind of dig into what they've done differently. Was it on purpose? The market is shifting and their business is not. So I think it's a great time to hear from them. And we are going to get started. But before we do, introduce yourself a little bit, how long you've been in the business, and just anything else you want to share about yourself.
Glad to be back. Okay, my name is Relis Sanders. Been an agent for about 9 years now. Everything that you hear from me, you're going to hear from me from a dual agent perspective. I came into the business. I owned an all-state agency for the past 18 years. So everything you hear from me will be from a dual agent perspective. But what else did you ask me to say?
No, I think that's perfect.
Oh, perfect. There you go, my friend.
I think same for Nick. Go ahead.
What were the questions? I'm just kidding. My name is Nick Bolding. I have been a licensed agent for 9 years as well. And I am actually going to come from a different perspective because most of my business is actually not traditional real estate. It is property management.
Hi, I'm Tamara Davenport. This year is my fourth year in real estate. I came from corporate America. When I first started real estate, I was also dual career like realist for my first year and a half to 2 years. I was dual career and then went full time as a solo agent.
Awesome. Sorry for the mic pass situation. Okay, so we're just going to start with the panelists. Sorry, the questions that I kind of gave you guys a heads up on what we're going to talk through. And everyone doesn't have to talk every time, just if you feel compelled to answer, we can go that way. Okay, so this is one that we're going to start with is really we're talking about year over year growth, right? So if you could pinpoint one thing you did differently or one decision that you made in the last 12 months that changed your business, that helped you grow, what would that be?
Guess I'll go. For me, it was more of just a mindset shift. I just turned 50 and I've got a 20-year goal. So from 40 to 50 decade, it was a matter of getting my license, obtaining that license, establishing a lot of relationships, building those relationships and referrals. I hit 50, it was time for a reset, just a mind shift reset. So with that being said, it was just a matter of putting things back into priority and following through with that plan. What I try to tell a lot of agents, when it comes to this business, it requires time. You've got to put in some time. Just sitting up here, we've been doing this for a while, and it doesn't happen overnight. But, the decision I made was just to hit a reset. I changed some things at my agency, hired some more people to get that running smooth, to allow me more time to focus on real estate. So that's kind of where I am right now.
I'm going to be completely honest. I was very surprised when Linda texted me that my business went up. To be honest, I mean, just truthfully, because last year, I didn't really sell anything. I focused on 2 or 3 other businesses. And so, um, I'm going to shift gears a little bit because my business really has changed a lot on the property management side. Um, I'm not going to talk too much on sales, but business is relatable regardless of if you're doing traditional real estate, just investors, um, insurance. It's all business is business. Practices work the same across the board for the most part. My main thing is I cut out the extra noise. Um, for those of y'all that know me, I'm a licensed contractor. I was a property manager. I was doing 4 or 5 flips a month. I bought investment properties. I had my own rental portfolio. So I had a lot of things going on, and I cut all of it out and focused on one thing to get really good at it, because you can either be a jack of all trades or you can be really freaking good at one thing and then develop a business and then hand that business to other people on your team that you trust and then go do the same thing, go do the same thing if you're a serial entrepreneur. Apparently I just didn't have the discipline to do that at one time or to do that over time. So I encourage, for anybody who's starting in their business or feels like they're stuck, focus on one thing. Don't get in other lanes. If no offense, if you're not a property manager, don't go be a property manager. It kind of sucks. I'll tell everybody. I was dumb enough to build a business on it. But like, just focus on the one thing that you're good at. Don't try to be the project manager. Don't try to be the property manager. Don't try to be the investor agent if that's not what you do. Go be the one thing that you're really, really good at and make that your niche.
For me, over the last 12 months, I remember when I first started and I had my onboarding meeting with Kim, and also orientation, everything is always about the big why. So last year, my big why changed. I had a life changing event that made me have to reevaluate everything. So I had a plan that I thought I had for real estate, and then all of a sudden it changed. So, and it became very, very personal. So I was motivated to do more. I had to do more to get the financial freedom that I so much needed in the situation that I was experiencing, and I was having to purchase a new home. I actually started to build a new home. So every day, that is my motivation. Like, I've got to get, it's not about me selling real estate to someone else. Now I'm selling real estate to myself. So that my big why changed, and it motivated me. And also the financial freedom aspect of it, not to have to depend on anyone else for anything financially. So every day, it's not about selling a house to me. It's like, how can I set myself up in a way that I can have a future going forward where I'm not having to be dependent on anyone else financially. So my 12 months was personal, my personal growth. I was very motivated to just do more.
I love that. So I think what I'm hearing all of you say is focus, right? So I think as we are in the business for longer, when you first start, you go to orientation, you're overwhelmed. You don't know which lane you want to be in. Maybe you're like, oh, this is a great lane and that's a great lane. And something I said yesterday during Breakthrough 120 is there's all these one-pagers and there's all these people who tell you exactly how they did it. The hard part is that they all work, right? It obviously works because somebody did it once, right? However, what matters to you, just like you said, and how can you be good at the one thing? And even you, Realist, I think, talking a little bit about being dual career and how can you make sure that your focus is not split as often. So I think everyone kind of said that. So love that. Okay. What is something, I think you guys already kind of answered this, so I'm going to skip that one actually. What's a non-negotiable daily thing that you do every single day that has impacted your business? So maybe if it's something that's changed or something that you've always done that you've maybe doubled down on. Yeah.
So I'll go. Most people know that normally I have a Sold by Tamara or something on every day. I have Sold by Tamara dresses. I have Sold by Tamara t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats. I wear them every day. So even if I'm not talking about real estate, my clothes are. So people are nosy, and I learned that people are nosy and they're looking, and if they can't see what it says, they get a little bit closer so that they can see it. I shop at Dillard's a lot, and people think I work there because they think this is a Dillard's name tag. I wear it every day. So I talk to everybody. I use it as an opportunity. Like, that's a part of my lead gen. Everywhere I go, every day, all day, I'm talking to people about real estate. So it's kind of funny, but not, because sometimes it turns into a client and sometimes it doesn't. But I've sold houses. I've sold 2 houses just off of, one was my sweatshirt, not even saying anything. The man asked me, and the next one was my name tag at a restaurant. So it works. So that's something that I do all day, every day. Just talk to people and just let them know that you're in real estate. You're not trying to sell them a house. You're just saying, hey, if you need help with anything, you can call me. I'm a resource.
Mine is not as efficient as hers. But mine, honestly, so just transparency, I had just kind of a moment with the Lord back into February, beginning of March. And I remember sitting on the floor playing with my kids, and I was looking at my wife, talking to her. We just put them down to bed, and I told her, I was like, I'm physically exhausted. Like, I just felt drained. Anybody else feel that way from time to time? This was March. I felt like I had hit September, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long year. And I just realized I lacked discipline. So I started a 75-hard challenge, and that created what to me is a non-negotiable routine. So every day I'm up at 4:15. I work out at 4:30. I'm back home by 6 a.m. I shower, I get ready, I journal, and then by 7:30 I'm hitting emails. By 8 o'clock I do my first meeting of every single day. That's a non-negotiable, because if I don't do that, my day is off. Like, what I even do it on Saturdays. Make fun all you want. I rest on the Lord's Day, but I do it on Saturday. So I'm still up at 4:30 a.m. working out, because it's a mindset. If you don't get your mind right, nothing's going to matter after.
And that's something you changed this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say my non-negotiable is a sense of urgency. Like, seriously, in my agency, this is what we preach every day, and we have this thing we call a no shutout. So what that means is we need to produce at least, or have some type of success with one thing. Don't have a shutout. So what that means is either you're going to sell a home product, you're going to sell an auto product, and if it is on the real estate side, I'm going to have a listing appointment, I'm going to follow with a referral, or sometimes it's just a moment of, I might call Tim, I might call Valencia Gath, right? We have a conversation about real estate. So it's my thing is just having a sense of urgency every day and operating with the mindset of having no shutout. That's from the insurance side as well as the real estate side.
Ooh, I love that. You just said that because you said it's something that you shifted this year. So I think that's something that in real estate, they just had an aha moment. Nobody's forcing you to show up. So the discipline, the intentionality behind it, and saying, like, I'm not going to go one single day without doing something, even if it's just a conversation. It just keeps you in that mindset of, this is what I'm doing. I love that. Okay, awesome. Let's see. What is one belief that kind of changed in order for you to grow? What did it used to be, and then now, maybe this year or recently, have you said, like, you know what, actually this is what I believe, or this is how it's going to impact my business? And if you have one, I know that's kind of a hard question.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a one particular thing. It really kind of comes down to being consistent with what I'm mentioning. Because this business is all about, like I said, at the end of the day, relationships. I know we may touch referrals in a moment, but 95% of my business has come from referrals. I just got lucky and got a homes.com lead. I was shocked. But it just comes from that daily discipline, and just, following up with referrals, being involved in the community, coming to events like this, constantly being visible, whether you're on social media. It's a daily thing that accumulates over time. And one thing that you'll notice too, I might be all over the place, my mind's rambling, but when you're in real estate, people don't automatically do business with you when you want to. They're gonna do business with you because they've seen this guy's face pop up everywhere. You've developed trust, or you've developed relationships with people, and when the time is there, when the time comes about, they're gonna call you. They don't call the best agent all the time. They'll call, you have the agents with all the top numbers, but you have people who want to process a real estate transaction. They're gonna call the person that they trust, call the person that they see that's most visible, involved in the community. So that's just kind of what I do.
I think probably the thing that changed for me the most from like a mindset, or I guess an aha for me this year was, so I took bold, man, 3 years ago now. I don't know. I'm ancient. I feel like I'm not. I'm 35. I took bold like 3 years ago, and I remember something that's always stuck with me is what you focus on expands. And that could not be more true. So for our businesses, property management is very much processes and systems. And so we break it down into categories of the business. And then within the categories, we have KPIs that we focus on. And then with KPIs, I do week over week, month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year growth. And there's just focusing and transitioning that one thing took our revenue per door up 25%. Within the first 2 quarters of the year. And so like just small stuff like that really helps you expand and focus on what you need to focus on, because at the end of the day, if you're not looking at, I learned very quickly from another business, if you don't look at that stuff, your business will die. If you don't look at your bottom line and your overhead and your revenue drivers and what's really driving the revenue and focus on that. So like for Tamara, if she's not wearing those clothes and she realizes like that's giving me a higher return and she stops doing that, then her business is going to die. And so for me in property management, that was probably the biggest thing. I encourage you, if y'all have not read the book Traction or Leap or any of that stuff by Gino Wickman, phenomenal resource. That's literally the blueprint of how you should be running a business.
One thing that I had to change was not to take everything personal, because I have a lot of conversations with people all day, every day, everywhere I go. Everybody knows that I'm in real estate and I'm talking. So you'll get a promising lead that you'll think that they're going to close in the next 30 to 60 days, and then they don't. And then you feel let down, deflated. You're upset because you were counting on that person to buy a house within the next 30 to 60 days. And that's not always how it happens. I mean, it could be from the great lead, you've taken them out, you've shown them houses, you've even written a contract. I've been under contract before, and the deal didn't close. That's disappointing. So that's something that I had to stop taking personal and just keep nurturing the relationship. Don't let that stop you. Keep talking to people, talk to more people, and keep going. I've sold houses, one this year. I met them last year. So 12 months later, we just closed. So it takes time. You just have to keep going and don't stop.
I love that. Nick, this wasn't on the list, but as you were talking, I have a question. Who do you look over those numbers with? Do you do it by yourself? How do you have a business partner that you look with? What would you recommend people who are in retail sales? How do they make sure they're holding themselves accountable to looking at those metrics and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, so my team has 7 people on it, and there's really only me and one other person on the leadership team. So me and him look at it every single month. We do, with this format of business that we run, we do an offsite 2 to 3 hours every single month. And we look at all aspects of the business, and we look at the revenue drivers, we look at performance, we look at 1v1s. So we meet with each team member, they get graded, like they grade themselves across the culture and how they fit the culture of the company. And if they don't fit the culture of the company, we say it's a plus, plus, minus, kind of fit it, minus, you don't fit it. If it's 3 minuses in a row, you got to go. And it just helps keep the culture where we want it. And it helps them see, hey, I'm not a good fit for this role, and they may just be in the wrong seat, and that sometimes that's a big indicator. So we look at it every month. I look at KPIs. You can call it obsessive, but it's my business, so say what you want. I look at them every single day. I have a 30,000 foot view spreadsheet. It's 16 tabs long, and I look at it literally every single day. Daily KPIs is what we look at, and then it rolls into a monthly and a quarterly KPI sheet. Yeah. So Sarah asked, for those watching, the book. It says what. There's a short version that says what the heck is EOS. If you just want to understand what it is, it's a good read. It's something I actually give our employees when we hire them, so they understand where I'm coming from and why I operate the way I operate. That's the intention of that book. Entrepreneurial operating system. So there's 4 levels of the book. I encourage, for solopreneurs, most agents are solopreneurs, I would really encourage you guys to read Leap. Leap is a really good book. It basically allows you to understand the difference between solopreneurship and entrepreneurship and how you can fit and grow that whatever mold of that business that you fit in. But to answer your question, if you're solo by yourself, get a coach. Somebody's got to hold yourself accountable. I'm sorry. I know we got some disciplined people, some fit people. Fit people typically are disciplined people. Clearly, I'm not there yet. But for the most part, I mean, you're not going to hold yourself accountable to the level that you should be. You need to pay for somebody that's going to do that at a high level.
I love that. And really, even the fit part, right? I've had people who I've been in business with who were fit. I won't say it's not easy, because I'm not. However, there's like a measurable that is pretty well known. So they know, okay, if I go to the gym this amount of time and eat this many calories, this is the results I'll get. It's hard when you're in a business that you get to decide what you do every day. If you don't have someone who's telling you, these are the activities that get you this result, you're just going to try everything, and you don't know what you're measuring or how to measure it or if you're going to get the result, because it's just like working out. If you're doing the wrong thing for the result you want, you're not going to get that result, right? So do recommend getting a coach, because I think you need to know your end goal, and they can help you strategize around what are the activities, right? If not, you don't know what the activities are to get to that result. So and do it from someone who's already experienced. If you're brand new, you don't know what the activities are, or there's so many you could do, right? So that's a great point. Okay, so a couple more questions here. What is one thing, one question, one activity that you do during appointments? This may or may not, actually, you know what? It may apply to you too, Nick. During appointments that maybe you've changed, or one thing that like really gets the person on the hook. If that makes sense. Like, what's one thing that you always bring up every time that helps your clients kind of use you? Anybody have one?
Because I track everything. I bring data to the table. There's a lot of property managers who don't actually go look at properties. They go vacant and they'll sit there for 6 weeks vacant and nobody ever knew anything happened to a house. And the house is literally burned down to the studs. I've seen it before. Took on a property and the house didn't exist. Went by and I was like, hey, you sent me this address yesterday. This house is not on the map. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, it looks like it was a gas fire here. And I sent him pictures. He was just amazed. He was like, this sucks. I need an insurance claim. Problem with that is the last time somebody looked at it was 3 months ago. Good luck getting a claim on that. So I bring data to the table. Our retention rate for tenants, our average length of stay, our average rent per zip code. So like we have so much data because at the end of the day, that's what sells. Just like as an agent, you're going to want to know your data to bring to your client to say, here's how my performance outperforms other people. Here's the industry standard and here's where I sit with it. And sometimes the data is not pretty in your favor. We have some metrics that I don't love that we're improving on, and is only one way to improve on it is to focus on it.
Yeah. Oh, we had it.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
One thing that I ask them is, or try to get, is what their motivation is. If they're selling, what is their motivation to sell? If they're buying, what is their motivation to buy? Building a relationship with them, listening to them, their wants and their needs, and not just trying to sell them. Becoming a resource. If they are selling and they're not ready, giving them a list of providers that they can reach out to do repairs and the things that they need. So just asking them questions and listening to them, and not always being just about the sale, because it'll come.
That's true.
Yeah, I do. And I don't want this to come across as being braggadocious or anything like that, but I just want to tell you all like the power of a referral. The power of referral is it's amazing because I've been in the business for 9 years, and I can tell you that anytime someone has called me for something, because of the past history and the reputation of doing business in a manner where I can sleep at night, when someone calls me for a referral, it's kind of already done when I get there. There's really no tension. It's just a matter of me doing what's right for them, meeting their objectives, and we just kind of go through the process. Now, I know now that I've said that, my next appointment is going to be out of this world. I'm going to be sweating it, but the power of a referral is really true. When you develop and just do business the right way, the word travels. And but not to say that I don't do a lot of things that they mention, but that's just kind of how I've been blessed and fortunate enough to enter those transactions to where it's all kind of already done. It's just a matter of connecting the dots and getting them across the finish line.
I love that. Okay. Last question I have here. Well, maybe two. But last real question. What in the past year almost kept you from growing? What's one thing that mindset or something that held you back and almost didn't make it?
So for me, fear of failing, fear of rejection is like one of the things that I struggle with. So not being good enough, setting goals is hard. Being a part of the ALC has helped because we actually set goals, and Linda pushes us. Even with the goals, she's pushed them even further than I think I said. But it's there, so I can't unsee that. So now I'm like, I have to do everything that I can to try to do that. But it's scary. It's scary. Like, you have to try. If you don't, there is no, what is it that we learned in Bible? There, yeah, there is no try. There's only do. But if you want to see results, you have to do something. You can't just, it's not just gonna magically happen. But fear was mine.
I think for me, one of the sounds kind of a weird. So I'm in a very like litigious liability space. I think for me, one of the biggest fears was just the fear of, can I handle growth? There's general rules of thumb, like when it comes to property management, you can only handle so many doors per person. And I was scared to grow because I didn't want to reinvest. For those of you who, obviously, you have to pour money into your business. You have to pour money into lead gen activities. You have to pour money into clothes for Tamara to be able to advertise her business. I have to pour money into software. We spend about $20,000 a month in our business, and so for me, that was terrifying to see that. But our business has grown 61% in the past 12 months as far as revenue. So because of that and that decision, it's obviously yielded a higher reward, but it's terrifying to commit to a contract to say, yes, I'll do this for 12 months and it may not pay off. That's terrifying.
So you almost didn't make that.
Correct.
But you can't commit for 2 months and expect to pay off.
Say that in the mic.
And the question is,
What's one thing that almost stopped you?
No. 6 months.
I would venture to say that one thing that almost stopped me was trying to do too much. And what I mean by doing too much, sometimes you can, I had to develop the capacity to say no. Or no, I can't do this. Or no, I can't participate in this. Or I can't donate to this. I can't be on this board. I can't. Sometimes you can get caught up in trying to be too, well, not say too giving, but you can over volunteer yourself for certain situations, and it takes away from the basis of what really keeps your household moving. So I can find myself getting into a rat race sometimes, being a treasurer for the Memphis Rebounders and treasurer for my cycling club and doing a lot of things for the fraternity. And it can, and I, keep in mind, I didn't mention I had a wife and 2 kids. So sometimes you can get in a rat race and you just have to, like what we said at the beginning, you have to just reset. And I break things down in the categories of a must do, should do, and would be nice to do. That's how I kind of categorize, all my tasks, what I have to do. So that always bring me back home. These are must do items, should do items, and this would be nice to do. So that's kind of how I categorize my activities for the day.
I love that. So the last thing I'm going to say here, or ask really, is if everyone in this room copied exactly what you do for the next 90 days, what would their calendar need to look like tomorrow for them to improve? What is your calendar? What do your days look like? Yeah, I'll let Tamara go first while y'all are thinking.
So we all know what our calendar is supposed to look like. We're supposed to do lead gen from 9 to 11 every morning. I do not do that. So that would be very helpful if you did, I'm sure. But what you should be doing, at least if you're not going to set aside, if you're not going to time block specifically every day or certain days, you should do it as many days as possible. As many days as you can, set aside that time block 9 to 11 to lead gen. If you have to miss, like I do often, you make it up. It may not be you sitting 9 to 11 calling on the phone, but you're doing it some other kind of way. There are many ways to lead gen other than just sitting on the phone calling people. So a lot of my lead gen is just my day to day when I'm just out. I'm lead genning while I'm going about my day. I'm still talking to people, and that's a lot of my lead gen. But you should be talking to people as often as you get an opportunity. Anybody that you come across, they should know that you're in real estate.
I just want to say something about Tamara for a second, because that's true. We had a conversation at the beginning of the year where I'm coaching her through her business, and she's talking about missing lead gen all the time, but she's having 10 conversations out in public when she's at Dillard's. That counts. So don't feel like you have to sit down and make calls all day. If you can wear a t-shirt that says sold by Tamara and have conversations with people all day long about real estate, you capture their contact information. Now they're in your database and they're a potential client. That counts. So whatever, don't get caught up in, I have to sit down from 9 to 11 and make calls. As long as you're prospecting constantly, you will have conversations, and that counts as lead gen, right? So I love that you said that, because I think you were getting down on yourself, and I was like, girl, you closed 5 houses from meeting strangers on the street. It counts, right? So what about you, Nick? What about your calendar?
I mean, I have the same calendar every day. I'm kind of boring. I wake up 4, work out at 4:30. I'm home at 6. I journal and then shower, then eat. Then 7:30, I'm on emails. 8 o'clock, I'm on a team meeting. 8:30, I'm back on emails. 9 o'clock, I'm back on the team meeting. We do level 10s twice a week, which is a 90-minute meeting going through the business. And then I do a monthly meeting. My morning times from basically that morning slot when I don't have meetings is meant specifically for critical thinking. So that's when my brain is at its freshest. So that's when I spend time working on the business. So I work on processes and systems. And after the issues that the team brings up, that's when I actually go in and try to fix those issues to make sure that we don't have them anymore. And if it breaks something else, then I fix it tomorrow at the same time. My 1 to 5 is basically anything from field work to client relationships to field calls to investor calls to anything and everything that is more of a relational aspect, because I don't have to be as sharp on my mind to fix things. And then 5, I'm with my family and I don't look at my phone again until 8 o'clock, and I go to bed at 9:30.
Program.
I can attest to that because that man's phone is on do not disturb after 5 o'clock at all times, which I love. So yeah. And I think one thing I love that you said, that I think a lot of us don't put into our day is that time for strategic thinking, working and thinking through your business and the things that you could improve on. That was aha for me. I mean, I know. Yeah, of course.
I would really encourage, if y'all aren't doing this, you got to make time for yourself. You cannot pour into a client if you aren't making time for yourself. Like, you're giving them the bottom of the barrel if you don't even fill your own barrel. So please, 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 like, to me, working out, the exercise side is great. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad, thankful for it. But like, I've had so many good ideas for business just doing that, and then going and reading a book, and it's fresh, top of mind. I'm able to actually apply it, and there's so much like me time that comes in. Like, I love my kids, but I don't have to listen to them in the first 2 hours of the day. That's fantastic. I don't have to listen to my wife the first 2 hours of the day. It's just me. And sometimes my thoughts are super loud, which means I've got to fix something. And sometimes it's quiet, which means I can then do a little more critical thinking. So you got to invest in yourself before you invest in other people.
I don't know if y'all want my calendar. The main problem is my calendar is majority 85% right here. I need to change that. I've gotten a lot better by actually using it somewhat, but I do departmentalize a lot of stuff right here in this 50-year-old brain. But if you all were to copy my calendar, I'm gonna twist it a little bit. Um, as far as the agents that are in the room, what type of experience we got? Anybody less 3 years or less, or 2 years or less? Let me see your hands. Okay, so a few. So if you wanted to copy my calendar, I'm just gonna have some advice. Take the next 5 days and get your personal lines license. Okay. Your personal lines license will allow you to sell home, auto, or renter's business insurance. Okay. Second thing is, once you obtain that license, there's your lead generation right there. The relationship between insurance and real estate is just like this. So, not to say that this would replace anything else that you're doing. I'm just giving you the dual agent model. A lot of you all don't need motivation, you need a blueprint. So, if you were to obtain that license, boom. So think about this. Insurance it's a necessity. So everybody that you run into, everybody in this room, I could go to each of you right now and offer you my services. You need it. It's not something you want. You've got to have it. So that means, just like Tam does when she has her Keller Williams badge on, you're going to always see me with this little lapel Allstate. You're going to always see me with that on. So that is a form of lead generation. You could actually be being compensated for it at the same time, developing relationships. You're handling a business where those people they begin to trust you. And now guess what happens? Now when it's time for real estate, boom, who are they going to call? I'll give you this one story and I'll be done. My first real estate deal came from one of my customers calling my agency to pay on her investment property. And she said, "Oh, Relis, I sure wish I could sell this thing." I said, "You know what, Miss Watkins, I got you. I'll take care of it for you." And the ball starts from there. So that's my advice.
Yeah, go for it.
So Realist just shared his first, and I have to share my first, because my first, it's like I started from the beginning talking to people. So the first house I sold, I was at Bath and Body Works. It was during the holidays, and there was a man in the line. I'm always at the store. I'm sorry. the man in the line behind me, it was a holiday, so the line was long, and he was really friendly. So I asked him if he minded if I gave him my business card, and he said yes, so I gave it to him. So this was either late November or early December because we were Christmas shopping. And then one day I was here and I got an email and he called and he wanted to buy a house. He was already pre-approved for $485,000. I didn't know what to do. Weezy was right there. Look, she had to help me because I was like, oh my God, but that taught me a lesson. So I was like, I literally talked to everyone. That taught me a lesson. He was nice. We were talking. I gave him my card and he kept it. For 2 months later, he called me when he got ready to buy a house. He called me. Now, I didn't get his information because I don't think I knew to do that then. I just gave him my card. So I didn't have any contact information from him. It was all on him. He called me, but that was my first sale. So that's why I literally talk to everybody that I see.
I love that. And that's exactly, you're right. Now you know. You don't leave without their contact info, right? Just in case they don't call you. Okay, lightning round super fast, and I'm going to introduce the sponsors so that y'all can get out of here. I didn't tell you guys this. It's the fun part, okay? What is the best book you've ever read?
Oh man, don't do that to me.
You read a lot, so what's your favorite book?
Best book hands down that just dang, I have a few. Traction is just such a good business book, truly is. Rich Dad Poor Dad changed my mind on just spending money. Intentional Fatherhood changed my way of parenting my kids. So those are three phenomenal books.
Mine is not real estate related, but it's life. So Mel Robbins, Let Them. Unless you've been under a rock, you've heard about it. So Let Them by Mel Robbins was my 2026 or 2025, I believe is when it came out. That was my book.
I would say Rich Dad Poor Dad as well. However, I've heard so much about Let Them and the excerpts everywhere. I love Let Them. I love that theme too. So
Love that. Oh, she said Mel Robbins coming out with Let Me next. I appreciate you guys taking the time on this Tuesday. We're so proud of you guys. We're so excited for you and the growth that you've had in your business. Here to support you in any way that you have. But y'all give them a round of applause. We are so excited to hear from them. We don't get to hear from them very often. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to introduce the sponsors. We do have lunch. Do you have a question for the panel? Yeah. Traction. Who's the author? Gino Wickman. Yes, Janet. The license that realist said to get.
you can see me afterwards, but it's just a personal lines license. We've relaxed having to have a property and casualty license, so it's a lot easier now to get in the insurance business. But it's the personal lines license. You can go to examfx.com. I can help you with that, though.
You have someone else?
The sponsor, I just wanted to go ahead.
You can introduce them.
I just so happened to know the sponsor extremely well. So, Mr. Marshawn Bernard, would you step up and come on, introduce yourself and what you have to offer to the group?
Have you ever used him? Y'all know each other personally?
Since about 13 years old.
Love it. Okay. So they know each other personally. I love that you came on the day. I know you said, like, you were like, I don't want to bother the realist, and he happened to be here. Look at that. Well, I wanted you to introduce yourself a little bit about your business, and he did bring us some lunch today, so y'all thank him.
Yep. So, thank y'all for y'all's time today. My name is Marshawn Bernard, as really said, and I have my colleague Scott Rosenboom, who's here with me today as well. And we're surface experts of Memphis. And so we're a little bit different than most companies where we just focus on internal hard surface repairs. That may be from floors to furniture to tubs to countertops, cooktops, you name it. A lot of times we may see in you all's field, you have open houses, somebody's coming through, they have a rock in their shoe, nobody knows it, the floor gets scuffed. Well, we need to replace just their spot and repair their spot and not replace the entire floor. That's where we come in as well. Another thing with your closings, you have your final walkthroughs. There could be things that popped up nobody saw, as opposed to you having to replace that surface. We can come in and repair it and keep the closing on the book. So that's where a lot of value is had, is getting the house listed and then ultimately keeping the closing to get the house sold. Like I said, thank y'all for y'all time. I answer any questions if y'all have any, but other than that, you'll be seeing us sponsor things quite often, but we're here to help if you need it.
Thank you so much. He's actually joined our vendor program So we're excited to have them. I think that's a huge benefit. Honestly, he's right. When you have a final walkthrough and they moved out and they scuffed the tile floors and things that you like, maybe they scratched something on their way out, broke something. That's a great resource to really keep that closing on track. Huge, huge value. So y'all, thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to see everybody. Y'all have they brought us some lunch in the back. Y'all talk to the panelists as you get going, but we appreciate y'all showing up. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a good day.